The nonprofit world is weird and unforgiving, and it's just a different beast. If you try to run a nonprofit like a business, entirely like a business, there's certain aspects that obviously have parallels. But if you try to run it entirely like a for-profit business, you usually get into a little bit of trouble. And the other way around as well. There are just certain protocols and procedures and best practices and like base level low bar expectations, things that folks who have experience in the nonprofit world know about, know to do, and know how to do well, that people that don't, they just don't get. And you have to work in a nonprofit to really get it. You can volunteer for a nonprofit. You could be a committee member, you could be a board member, and you'll have more of a clue. But until you work for a nonprofit, you don't quite appreciate just the unique, persistent level of stress associated with working in a nonprofit ecosystem. Uh, that said, it's an exceptionally satisfying. It's a valuable thing. A lot of people that work for nonprofits, they don't have trouble sleeping at night. They know they're doing good things. It's a fulfilling and satisfying career, and being able to serve veterans in the nonprofit space is doubly fulfilling, especially for folks like myself who served, and folks like our guest today who also served and has spent the last however many years of his career serving veterans, either in a government or a nonprofit capacity. It's super fulfilling. The veterans, we just have a connection with our people, and we want to be able to support and still be their wingmen, even when we're not in the service anymore. A lot of us, and I think that's really cool. That said, there are a lot of challenges in this space, a lot of uh, unique challenges. There are unique best practices in the nonprofit world, but there are unique challenges as well that you don't see in any other industry, in the government, or in especially for-profit or corporate entities. Like that, nonprofits have unique struggles, and the veteran nonprofit ecosystem is no exception. In fact, the veteran nonprofit ecosystem has its own kind of niche, unique challenges uh, that they have to deal with and endure and overcome to be able to stay solvent and continue to make an impact. Some nonprofit organizations out there just struggle to stay solvent, much less have a programmatic impact. It's a tough, cutthroat, dog eat dog nonprofit world out there. And so the question is, how does a nonprofit succeed? How does a nonprofit kind of nudge their way to the front and be seen by donors and supporters and volunteers and board members? How do they overcome these challenges that are unique to them in the nonprofit or the veteran serving nonprofit ecosystem? And that's what we're talking about, because it's nonprofit and community month. That's what we're all about right now. We're talking about nonprofits in Wisconsin and community supporting endeavors and charities and programs in the state of Wisconsin. And we couldn't have a better guy here to talk to us about that than Zach Zdroik. He is with Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin. He's going to tell you all about that. He's been a county veteran services officer. Like, this is a guy that knows his stuff at a very wide, like, he knows from the government service angle, from the county veteran service angle, but then also he's in the nonprofit world now, and he's doing some groundbreaking stuff. Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin are the folks that are responsible for the veteran tiny homes village in Racine County. They're the ones behind that, and we've all heard about that. But it's people like Zach that are behind the scenes making this magic happen and making a real impact. So we have Zach on the show today to talk about what are his unique challenges in his space. What is he seeing in the nonprofit world? For those of you out there that work in the nonprofit world or aspire to one day have or work for a nonprofit, what do you need to be on the lookout for? Or are you a volunteer? And the knowledge of this information would probably help you to better empathize with and support the paid members of the paid staff of the nonprofit. So I think this touches a lot of people, and I think some of you will be surprised people that are on the kind of the periphery, on the outside of the nonprofit ecosystem. I think I've used the word ecosystem 47 times, and I'm sorry. If you have another word for ecosystem, please put it in the chat, and I will alternate between whatever that word is and ecosystem. Okay. Or if you have like a third or a fourth word, I'll just keep rotating them out. So apologies. But I think you'll find this valuable and very interesting. This is a very unique space, and I'm looking forward to diving into it with our guest, Zach Zdroik, right after this lovely new bumper. It's shorter. It's shorter. The bumper's shorter. It's great. We're not going to have the drop off in viewership because it's 12 minutes long or whatever. And the video on the right-hand side is Saul Newton petting an alpaca, our president and CEO petting an alpaca, which is super cool. I love the new bumper. I'm excited about it. Okay, enough about that. Zach, my friend, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, I got to ask you, was the bumper too loud?
No, I think it was good.
Okay, I don't want people
wasn't
to like
too long too, so it was good.
toss their headphones just because it's like, yeah. So what's happening over there in Racine County, man? Talk to us.
Yeah, so I mean, here at VOW, obviously we focus on two main things right now. We have veterans housing with the tiny homes. So we focus on veterans housing and then food insecurities with our veterans marketplace. We are going to be incorporating a new program here within the next month, and that's going to be our mental health program. Our mental health program is going to offer group therapy groups for the outside veteran community, not only our residents, but also obviously we bring the residents there daily to go through, take care of their mental health problems. At our veterans marketplace, obviously we have 450 veterans and surviving spouses go through there once a month, right?
Oh.
So that tells me there's a big need there. And those numbers have been going up as the cost of food goes up across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So one other thing we're going to be adding to is a veterans mobile marketplace. So
Nice.
The concept behind that is pretty simple. We take our marketplace and make it mobile. We're going to gut a bus. We're going to get a race car hauler, and we're going to use that to go to veterans housing groups in the state of Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, we'd like to go to separate counties, work with different veteran programs, work at the CVSOs, keep those data and analytics from those specific cities or counties. Then that way we pass that to that veteran community in hopes that maybe they want a veteran marketplace there one day. But we got a lot of good things, continuing to be innovative. I think that's the most important thing now.
So you're definitely not collecting dust is the bottom line. You're not growing moss, that's for sure. You guys are keeping busy, and you're having a real impact. But let's start from the first one there, because I have so many questions about the tiny homes project.
Yeah.
And some of it comes from like the beginning. You know, there's so many people that they hear about the tiny homes project. They're like, man, it's a really great idea. I personally wouldn't even know where to begin from the ideation phase to actually getting the things built and approved through all the different entities and getting the funding and blah, 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 blah. How insane and how big of a lift was that to go from ideation to breaking ground?
Yeah. So our founder who founded the whole VOW, it started very simple, basic human needs, right? Mm-hmm. And that started with our veterans marketplace. So we're providing food to the community, cold weather gear, stuff like that, whatever they may need for the veterans. And from that, we found out like, wow, there's a lot of housing needed around here as well. We don't have enough here in Southeast Wisconsin for these vets because we still have homeless veterans. And we saw something, it was online about the tiny home project. I was like, I wonder if that's something we can do here. And we had some land available, like, let's contact these guys. And we contacted them, and they were part of the tiny home project. And we said, hey, we want to do this here in Racine. We worked with the city very closely. We had their support immediately. The county was on board. Nice. And before you know it, November 2017, we were cutting a ribbon, and vets were moving in to the homes. And it was just amazing. From just the thought to making it happen, it was like, bam, blink of an eye. And all of a sudden, before you know it, we're housing vets, and we're moving forward and seeing what else the need is.
How many houses are in this particular, what do you call it, a village or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We have 15 currently.
15 houses. And my understanding was that you pretty much had 15 houses filled with 15 veterans almost immediately.
Yes, right away. So sometimes, depending on the time of year, sometimes during the summer, we'll have a couple openings, but like during the winter, like right now, we're full. as well as every veterans housing program in Southeast Wisconsin. But I think a lot of that has to go into, people are getting evicted now.
Right.
So, I mean, them getting evicted only causes more of a need. Like right now, and not to slam on this, but in Southeast Wisconsin, it's hard to find an opening for somebody that needs housing for veterans.
So is it mostly transient housing, or are people staying long-term? What's the average duration?
So it is a 2-year program. Not all vets stay 2 years. Some stay 2 years. Some stay 2.5 years. It depends. So what we do is we individualize the program, right? Because we have some of the vets have been living in their car for years. Some have been living in the woods for years. Other vets just got divorced, need a little extra help. So depending on what their plan is, maybe they want to have an apartment or buy a house one day, we'll set them up for success from there. So our program director works with them one-on-one. We have finance planners come in. We have, employment opportunities come in and move forward with whatever they need.
That's amazing. So it's not just, not just a roof over their heads, which is very important, but you're giving them that kind of holistic support to get them back on their feet. And is it one per house then?
Yes. One veteran per house.
And how many veterans, let's say in a given year, come in and out of the village?
So that number, I can give you the number total. So, I mean,
you can guesstimate. I'm not trying to grill you here.
25 probably once a year. So since November 2017, we've had about 67 veterans complete the program. So
right on.
Yeah.
And those are folks that complete it with a housing solution and employment and enduring resources.
Exactly. Because some vets, I'll be honest, I mean, this program isn't for everyone. Let's be honest here. It's a community program. So you're working with, the program director, as well as you're working with the other residents back there on certain things. And some people just don't want anything to do with it. And that's okay. We still set them up for success the best we can. But we look at the numbers for what was completed, and that's about 67 up to this date.
What are some of the unique challenges that you face with the ongoing maintenance of not just the facilities, but maintaining? There's probably a code of ethics and behavioral standards, and I mean, I'm sure you run into some very unique challenges. Can you tell, and without going into too many details, obviously, because we have people's personal experiences to take into account here, but how challenging is it to maintain this property?
So very, to put it simply, but it depends. So when we do, when somebody applies to live here, we sit down with them like, okay, what do you want to do in life? What's your goal? Like, where do you want to get to? We explain what the program is. We take them through VOW and let them see exactly everything we have going on. And if they say, I'd like to live here, okay, 5 years, where do you see yourself? 2 years. Like, do you just want housing? Do you want to work? Do you want schooling? Whatever it is. And are you okay with the community program? Because we put emphasis on that community program because that's what they're going to be living in. If you're not a people person, this might be a difficult program. But sometimes, individuals that aren't people, they'll come in and be like, you know what? They grow to love this place, and they have self-growth. So, we allow, obviously, there's little rifts among residents here and there, as anywhere, in any workplace for that matter. And, we take it as it comes. Honestly, we've been very lucky. There hasn't been like really extreme cases of something happening, but, we work with those people one-on-one and kind of move forward with them.
Right on. So what are your plans for the future? I mean, you said that there's a constant need. Are you hoping to expand and have more of these in Racine County? Mark Flower says, keep up the good work, Zach. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you, Mark. Mark's a good dude. We like Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So sorry about that, Zach. What are your plans for the future there in Racine County? Are you hoping to build more?
So we'll see. Honestly, I don't want to say yes. I don't want to say no. I mean, the biggest thing that we do here is we focus on the need, right? And this winter, we're kind of realizing, there is a need for veterans housing. Big time. Union Grove, they're booked. The housing over at the VA, they're booked with CVI. I mean,
right.
And there's other CVI apartments around here and they're full. So, I mean, it tells me that there's a need there. We also focus on the mental health side of things. Like, that's what we're focused on right now, because ever since the pullout in Afghanistan, obviously that hit the veteran community very hard. And when I was the service officer, I heard those needs and I saw those needs firsthand. So I knew that we needed to do something here at VOW to have something that, the vets can come to at any time to escape that, place in their mind that might be getting dark for them. So with the housing, though, to kind of focus on that, it's something that we're thinking about and talking about, but we're kind of monitoring the numbers and seeing how this winter plays out with other veteran programs. Because the reason we didn't is because we had 15 homes, and it was a good number. It was a good number because we had a program director run it pretty well. It wasn't getting too wild. It was pretty smooth. But also we had all this other veterans housing in the area, and they always had 1 or 2 openings. So it was nice. But like I said, this is one of the first years it's like everything's booked. So it's like, okay, maybe we need to look at other focuses out there where we need to look at. So.
And where does the funding for something like that come from? I can't even imagine how much it would cost. I mean, is it a county funding, state funding? Is it largely private donors, individual donors, or a combination?
All the above, honestly. Okay. So whenever I bring anyone through VOW, I explain first thing, like all this here is from the community. It all is. Whether it's for businesses, sponsoring a home, sponsoring community center, families donating, some food for our marketplace. It's honestly incredible to see the support and people come together whenever we need anything. But without them, we wouldn't be here. Without the community, this place would never exist. So it's a little bit of everything. We obviously, being a 501c3, we apply for the grants annually. And just the community as a whole has been the reason we're here.
That's amazing. And in the national news, given things that have been going on in the last few years, you see Racine and Kenosha counties and in the news for certain things that have happened. And it's easy for people on the outside looking in to think that Racine isn't a great community. But the truth is, when you're boots on the ground, Racine is a great community with great people who support each other and support their veterans. And the fact that this thing is funded and running and making an impact is proof of that. I think it's amazing. And I just wanted to draw attention to something that we talked about before we went live. Is you said you faced like no bureaucratic resistance from Racine City County, like they were on board from the get-go. Is that correct?
Yeah, the city and the county were extremely supportive when we got this going back in November 2017. I mean, obviously there's politics that go into it, but for the most part, they were very supportive. We had a lot of strong supporters within the city and the county that made this happen. No problem for us.
That's amazing. And that is not, like, I cannot stress enough for people that haven't tried to work with the state or the county or intergovernmental or between nonprofits and state or municipal entities. Like, that is not the norm. And I think it's amazing that Racine just like threw their shoulder into helping out. And clearly you guys are making a big impact with that. So that's amazing. Did COVID throw a wrench in any of your plans or your programs or operations in the village? Or was it just kind of like, all right, mask up, make sure people are healthy and just keep doing our stuff?
Well, yeah, it kind of threw everything off for everyone, obviously. But we obviously had to put back a lot of events, because we lean on those and fundraisers and getting the community involved. Because again, we like to thank the community by doing these events, and we weren't able to. So now we're at the point it's like, okay, COVID's here. All we have to do is kind of put on events safely, right? We have to be innovative. I keep saying that because that is extremely important for us. We have to be innovative on how we do these events, how we thank the community, and kind of do things differently now because we're living in a new world, and we have to go with it. So.
And did you have to shift your approach? I mean, you mentioned that a lot of your funding and, any nonprofit, like if you don't engage with your stakeholders, if you don't steward your stakeholders, your potential donors, your existing donors, people in the community, you cannot survive. So all nonprofits everywhere who like us gained a lot of revenue, and not just revenue, but also, membership and kind of ongoing stewardship from our live events. We had to pivot a ton. This office hours that we're on right now was born from a need that we saw and needed to continue to address in the face of COVID, and a lot of our stuff. So, did you have to shift to adapt to that to make sure your funding didn't dry up? And what of those new programs are you going to keep once things kind of chill out again and we can see each other again safely?
Well, in the very beginning, we kind of were hoping, like I think everyone else, we're like hoping it was going to go away so we can get back to normal. But now, since this is our new normal, we have new plans. We have new plans, obviously, than where we're going to focus on. Now, like I said earlier, with our mobile marketplace, we want to do things safely for people, get that out to them rather than have them, people are at risk, taking more of a risk. And we're also talking about doing a delivery service for the marketplace for specific areas, because we understand that a lot of people don't want to get out there and take any risks, and I respect that completely. So this way, we can continue to focus on their need by getting the groceries out to them rather than them having to leave the home and feeling bad about it. So, but yeah, ultimately, I'm going with it.
I did have one question that I forgot earlier about your general day-to-day. So I want to backtrack before I move on to talk about your new upcoming mental health programs. In a given day, let's say I'm a resident at the Village. Am I just kind of like free to build my own day, or is it structured like, you are required to work, and then, we do an inspection to make sure things are clean, like when you were in the military once a week, or like, how structured is it for the residents?
So like I said earlier, the program itself is individualized. We have some people work all day, some people work at night. So it's going to differ for everyone.
Sure.
Now, some people aren't employed, and that's okay. And everyone does have to volunteer, though. So if you're employed, 5 hours of volunteer service a month. Mm-hmm. If you're not working, 20 hours of volunteer service, because we don't want anyone just sitting there and not doing anything. But the program director is very hands-on with the vets, so that way he keeps them motivated, keeps them moving forward. Because otherwise, you're right, they'll just sit there, not do anything. Some people just complacent. We got to keep them motivated and let them know that we're in their corner as a support system.
That's a great idea too. A lot of people, if they're not really sure what direction to head in, or if they're feeling lost or whatever, the adage is, if you don't know, if you're lost, serve, give back. And making them volunteer can sometimes give people who may feel lost, or, ship without a rudder sort of thing, may give them some direction and some purpose again. So it's brilliant. I mean, clearly you guys have thought this thing out, and it's awesome. Let's talk about the mental health aspect. You told me about the program before we went live. It sounds really exciting, because it doesn't sound like it's just kind of the same old. It sounds very unique. Can you talk about the program?
Yeah. So when I came in here as an ED, I was one of the main focuses that I knew we needed to do, because as a CVSO, I realized there's a lot of mental health problems in the veteran community. I had too many veterans sitting in front of me saying, I want to kill myself. Yeah. Right. Too many. And that's obviously a big problem that we have in the veteran community. So that tells me, is okay, what can we do differently? Right. And that's going back to being innovative and thinking outside the box. What's out there right now? Okay. Is it working for some people? Obviously not for all. So what we're going to be incorporating here is having a mental health office. So not every veteran qualifies for VA services. We all know that. Right. So with this mental health office, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday throughout the week, we're going to have a different mental health program in there, whether it's like the vet center, the state, the county, or the VA. So that way there's something for everybody. It'll be open to the residents all day long, and the outside community can, make appointments throughout the week as well. And outside of that, right outside that office, we have an area that we're going to be doing a group therapy for art therapy, for music therapy, photo therapy, and have these programs come in and highlight what they're doing, as well as the residents have something else to, look at, and the outside community can sign up for those as well. So I'm very excited about that. That's another way, again, we're being innovative, kind of serving the veteran community, and ultimately we're focusing on the need that's out there.
The arts are a great way for veterans to heal, to express themselves. Not too long ago, earlier in December, we had Mark from Feast of Crispian on here, who's their new executive director, and talked about, it blew my mind. I had known about Feast of Crispian for quite some time. And, I have an arts background, music, but even I was like flabbergasted at the real tangible benefits of, and in their case, dramatic arts therapy and Shakespeare therapy, like giving vets an outlet, a comfortable and safe outlet to express themselves, is something that has value that cannot be overstated. I mean, it really is important. So I'm glad that you're doing that. We need more of that, because like you said, the VA is working for some people, but not for everybody, and takes different strokes for different folks. What are your other programs right now that you are developing? Can you talk a little bit more about the marketplace? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the marketplace is like any grocery store, to be honest with you. So a vet can go through there. It's open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 12 to 4. So if you're a single vet, you get 40 pounds of food once a week. Everyone's assigned their own day, so that way it doesn't get too busy in the marketplace waiting area.
Right.
And if you have a family of 3 or more, you can get 60 pounds of food once a week. We get everything's donated. Honestly, we have Amazon. They're a big supporter of us. Target, Walmart, a lot of local bakeries, and the community as a whole. So there's a bin outside of VOW that people can come and donate food at any time. And and honestly, every morning I come here and that bin is full, and it's unbelievable. It's the most amazing.
That's amazing. And again, just another testament to how great that community is in southeastern Wisconsin. That's outstanding. You guys are doing pretty much everything. And so is it somebody that is in the program or in one of your housing units that has access to that marketplace, or is it any community veteran that is in need? What's the process for them to get in on that?
Yeah, so it's open to all veterans. Obviously, our residents go there, but it's open to all veterans and surviving spouses of veterans. Okay. So all they need is a DD-214, proof you're a veteran, identifier. We log them into our system. Once you're logged in, you don't have to do it again. You sign in on your days that you're going there and go from there. But any veterans able to go there. We have a lot of vets that come in from Milwaukee, all over southeast Wisconsin. So we know the needs there, and with the cost of food going up, we know the needs only going to get even greater from here. So
what does your vision look like? So five years from now, let's say Zach and Veterans Outreach accomplish everything that they set out to accomplish. They check every box. They hit a grand slam home run. 5 years from now, what does southeastern Wisconsin look like?
You say southeast Wisconsin. I think it's the state of Wisconsin. I think it's okay. Every veteran is aware of what the services that we provide. And obviously we're building a groundwork here in Racine. It's working. And we're going to continue to grow across the whole state because the services we provide is for everyone, right? We're focusing on the 3 main groups now: housing, food insecurities, and mental health. In next year, there might be something else we add. We're going to keep going with the need, continue to be innovative, and that's the biggest thing. But everyone's going to know VOW for being innovative and focusing on the need, and ultimately we're saving lives.
That's amazing. I can picture you guys. So you're saying tiny homes, villages, and your group therapy and your marketplace support in every, not just metropolitan area, but every city that there's a need in the state of Wisconsin.
Absolutely. If there's a need, that's what we want to focus on and grow from there. Or maybe it's helping other nonprofits get there. You know what I mean? If there's another nonprofit that wants to do marketplace, fantastic. We'll help you get there. I don't want to compete with anyone. I feel like there's a lot of competing in the nonprofit field.
Yeah.
No need to do that. We all got to collaborate, and we're all doing the same thing here. We're all helping people. So
there's a lot. That's the understatement of the day. There's a lot of infighting in the nonprofit world, and there's a lot of infighting in the veteran nonprofit world. You know, it's like we're brothers and sisters, but we're also very competitive. You know, and it's good to know that you're one of the good ones that sees the important part is the end result, and that is serving the need and helping the people. What challenges, what do you see getting, what hurdles are in between you and that finish line, your vision?
Ooh, I mean, that's tough. I mean, I feel like we're going to make it happen. Maybe I'm overly confident. Maybe it's but honestly, it's kind of what we just said. You know what I mean? I want to continue to collaborate. I don't want people competing or programs competing, because that's where we fail. And I've seen it throughout the last 7 years in this field. Programs just button heads, and then bam, at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing here? And I don't want to get to like a stalemate that we're just sitting there waiting for something, waiting for this because of other nonprofits that are like complaining about this and that, where at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing. So I think it's just continue to collaborate. I think we'll get there. But at the same time, I know it's not reality. I know we're going to butt heads with some people. Not that I want to, but it's part of what we do. And I'm hoping that we'll focus on the need, and people will understand that the need's there. All we're doing is helping people at the end of the day. So and go from there.
Right on. Well, good stuff, Zach. That's man. He's not only saying all the right things, folks. He's also doing all of those things. And so is Veterans Outreach of Wisconsin. They put their money where their mouth is, and they really have a huge impact throughout the state and in southeastern Wisconsin in particular. Can't thank you enough, Zach, for what you do and for joining us today.
Oh no, thank you, Adam. It's great to be here.
On. I'll ask you to hang on the line for just a minute while I close things out, folks. That was educational. I have a lot of I feel like I need to go to this village and take a look, because I have questions about like how it works. It's so interesting. It's so efficient and economical, and it's like they pack a lot of punch. like the tiny homes and the whole ecosystem. I said ecosystem again, for Pete's sake, the whole ecosystem, the whole thing, I'll say thingy, the whole thingy just accomplishes so much in one tight package. Like, it's amazing. Man, I'm going to have to cut things off here before I say ecosystem another 14 times, but I appreciate you tuning in. Join us every Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. for office hours. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us.